Hello there, this is Cookies, and I forget what turn it is. I think it's around turn 25, but we have a new turn. So I've been keeping up on the recordings for this particular series so far, at least. So this just rolled a few minutes ago, so let's go ahead and hop in. We have a message from Berytos. Finally got some luck and got my Blood 3 bride to get Shed going. So we're about to see a lot of blood summons from Berytos. And then we have a fair number of battles. So first up, we've got Mekone and going after some indies. Remember, we've had a lot of Throne of Gaia events, so he's clearing this out, getting some more experience on these hoplites. No issues. All right. And then we have some fighting in Old Man Mountains, which is an Olmish province. So let's go ahead and hop into that. So this is part of TNG's Vulturine expedition. All right, and if this is a bump, so I think I talked a little bit last time about how I thought if I were I would be upset if I did all the fighting and someone vultured this much. I might not show it right away, but I will play in your demise. But right now we've got Hinnom interfering, so let's see what Hinnom gets up to. Hinnom had a very bad bump last turn with Lanka, so we'll see if this goes any better for him. He's got a milk cart against a bunch of generic troops. It is a bit of an ideal use case. Here's the TNG Bless. We've got magic weapons and hard skin. Brings these guys up to 13 protection, 12 hit points. Their stats vary a little bit based on the season, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're still kind of humans. 13 attack though for 16 damage is pretty good. Some of them have some stat debuffs. All right, 15 attack for 16 damage. And pretty high defense skill. Now, Leroy Kidzin, the Melkart, he's got a fire shield. So it's 11 AP damage, along with his Bless, which is Vampiric Weapons and Berserker. So he's not going to be running from combat. Or he shouldn't be. I guess he's got Berserker +2. It doesn't guarantee he'll go Berserk. And then coming back to these guys really quick. They do have 5 fire resist. So that'll reduce that fire shield to, I guess, 6 AP plus DRN effectively. So and 6 AP will occasionally go through 13 protection. So they could take some damage, but I don't think they'll take a lot. They're 16 damage, 15 attack though, into 19 defense. They'll harass this down pretty quickly. They will occasionally punch through this protection. The interesting part, at least for me, because I'm not super experienced with super combatants, is will the vampiric weapons from the Bless regen more health to keep this guy up before either he dies, or will his fear effect rout the TNG army off the field before he dies? Because I think he will chip down over time. We'll have to see. So yeah, a big 15 damage hit coming in. Okay, he's definitely dying faster. Still dying. Okay, the fear effect has not worn in though. let's see. It's not been really taking on these guys yet. I don't see any magic fear being set. Magic bonus even +1 from Sermon of Courage. Is this guy's Fear Aura broken? I feel like it should be ticking in. That's an affliction. I'm not seeing any of the fear effects, which is interesting because they've been in melee for a few rounds now. So vampiric weapons worked out to about 2 regen a round, it seemed like. Okay, so that guy got -1 on fear. That guy got -2. Okay, so it just took a while to set in. And for this milk cart, it took too long. Okay, so the milk cart's toast. So another bad bump for Hinnom. TNC gets away with his vulturing for now. Does take some attrition though, so this loses a noble, loses 5 sacreds. So, but the milk cart's 675 gold. We're looking at what, 80, 250, 290, plus 5 times 35, 140, 175. Yeah, so TNC came out ahead of this even with just Scales troops. Feels bad for Hinnom. Alright. And then next up, who, yeah, just last turn lost that Nephilim, I think a Melkart, and a bunch of Rephites. Alright, next up we've got Hinnom going after some Indies. Or Helheim. I think I might have said that wrong. Let's see. Got a Jarl and a Hellcarl. Spamming out some buffs. And some of the Scales troops. Providing a little bit more of a front line for the elves. Okay. Or the commander elves. So 18 Herdman does pretty good. In Farseer Mountains, the Barbarians have migrated, and they should take out this PD. Alright. Then Hinnom is a bunch of Jade Maidens. Doing a little bit of counter raiding versus Gaia. Alright, and Melma, we've got Mekone bringing a large army for a Throne of Gaia event. I think he's just kind of experience farming off of this a bit. Although he might be getting set up to take a throne next. In Grey Barrier, you see Sauromatia get set up. Oh, we've got a throne here, so we're going to see a Sabbath with potentially some imp spam. And then a large cavalry duel. Sauromatia should win this easily, unless their commanders get sniped. And he does have some bodyguards, so he should be fine. Alright. Takes care of the heavy cavalry. Oreopata rout the infantry and light cavalry. And we have some lancers from the left flank that have gone on the conjurers and are fighting the undead. Reinforcements should show up shortly, though. They won't have to hold out for long. Fairly big Shadow Blast, though. Another Shadow Blast queued up. It's really big. Shouldn't get off another, though. That killed so many Oreopata. "13 kills. Oof. Andy's got a imp familiar. Okay. Alright, so let's see the damage, because that was probably worse than Sauromatia deserved. Those Shadow Blasts were huge. Loses 8 Oreopata, 7 Lancers, 3 Raiders, a Cataphract, and a Sauromatian Raider, for a grand total of 19 Cavalry. The heavy cavalry only got 2, but this one sorcerer just taking a chunk out of Sauromatia's army. How would you get around that? I think that's a small argument for having some smaller squads. If you can split out into more squads, sometimes it's good. I think you're less likely to get big squads that bunch up if your squads are a little bit smaller and more nimble and potentially targeting different things, but that was just kind of unlucky because all the Oreopata ran out to the left flank to chase something, and then they all came back in a big bunch and got Shadow Blasted twice. Alright. Does take the throne, though, so maybe it'll be a good one. We've got going after Ulm. So we've got some Mercs rolling up on some PD. And the Merc Captain getting in on it. Alright. So, loses a few troops, but takes out the PD. And then Marverni in Glowing Caverns. Okay. Oh, he's got a False Prophet event he's trying to get rid of. Makes sense. My observation is you can pretty reliably patrol this out with like 15 PD. Somewhere between like 15 and maybe 17 or 18 PD. And then you don't always have to deal with it with troops. But if you do, you can probably send a similar small group to go take care of it. But he might be on his way to a throne. And then the Throne of Misfortune is spreading, so we're going to get some more bad events down here. And we have an arena. And I know there was some excitement in the game chat about the arena. So let's go ahead and check it out. So first off, we have Helheim and Lanka. So Helheim sends Erectus the Scout, going up against Aryaman the Raksharaja. So this guy has Gloves of the Gladiator and Gore. Now, Gloves of the Gladiator is special because it has 4 attacks. It's a very, you can get repelled a fair amount with it. but he's not berserk. He is diseased, though, because he's got this Job's Bowl. Oh, which blesses him. Okay, so that's a clever way to get bless on a unit if you haven't really broken into water. So he's got quickness, blood surge, awe. Now he has holy too, but this saves him a turn casting bless, so he can just get in there punching. The gore also provides an extra attack. He has a fire plate for some armor, boots of long stride for swiftness, and a pendant of luck to help him survive killing blows. So the idea is he very quickly just runs in and punches you before you can even, maybe bless yourself or something like that. And the swiftness combined with his quickness bless gives him a remarkable 56 combat speed, which isn't as fast as the race car centaur builds from Pangea, but it's pretty damn close. So I expect this guy to just get up there and punch this scout immediately. There we go. All right. And we've got Hinnom and So we've got Goliath the Melkart, who is heroic with Iron Will, so an MR Melkart. Pretty nice. These guys are really nice later in the game when MR Negate stuff comes out. Going up against an Enkidu slave. Poor guy getting sent to the arena. We've got Earth Power, Blessing, Iron Skin, and then a Killing Blow. And then we've got Mekone versus Tianchi. So we got the Kidzin Slayer, the Pull March. So he's got a Thunder Whip, which I think this gets capped. Max 1 point of damage on the actual whip, but the Chain Shock has a chaining effect that can stun, if I could talk. And we've got a Star of Heroes, which can help break armor, which is pretty cool. And also does a lot of damage at 38 damage. I believe these two weapons also will help him repel a fair amount. In addition, has a lot of armor. The storm armor comes from Bogus, or the Bogus crew, I guess. I believe I think it's the Dark Knight that has this, if I remember right. So it gives a lot of shock res, storm immunity, some hit points, and excellent protection. So he's up at 25 protection before buffs. Has a Precious to get those attack stats up so you can try to hit elves. And has Bracers of Protection for even more protection. And some defense. So he's got an okay 13 defense. All right. And he's going up against Hui. I don't know. I'm not good at pronouncing Asian names. But we have the Immortal Archer. She's got a GSS and a Golden Bow. The Golden Bow has a heart-finding effect, which is really cool. So she can one-shot kill with her bow, but also has a GSS to help in melee. Has excellent stats. 28 attack with that Golden Bow at range 50. Incredible precision due to an Eye of Aiming. And I think just being naturally very precise. A Rapid Foot Charm for a Twist Fate effect. Armor of the 5 Elements, which is a fantastic armor for 4 gems. And gives a whole bunch of resist, MR, and with a hammer, won't get the throne discount, but with a hammer it only costs 2 gems. 1 earth and 1 air. And that's because the percentage discounts are applied after, and so they'd round down. And then we've got a dragon helmet for a little bit more morale. Morale is really important in the arena. If you run, you die. So, gotta keep that going. So we're doing Astral Shield versus Temper Armors. This guy's up to 31 protection now. The bow might actually have a hard time hitting to apply its damage effect. It's just so much protection. And it's not armor piercing or anything. So this guy should be immune to archery. Let's do an Earth Grip. Another Earth Grip. And yeah, he's at 39 fatigue. Let's see his script. Temper Armors. I'm not sure if he was meant to do something else like Earth Power, but he didn't. Let's see how he does. Oh, and, oh, he's not blessed. So, as a reminder, it does not have the Mekone Bless, and this lady has not blessed herself either, but did put up Astral Shield. She does have chakras, so that didn't affect her. That one did, though, because it rolled pretty high. Let's see. Twist Fate saved her from a big Star of Heroes hit. And then we had a big DRN roll for the shock damage. Okay. Now, a GSS should hit through this, so we can take a look really quick. With a melee attack, heart finding, interesting. Well, let's take another look. Star of Heroes, Thunder Whip. Barely hit, but got a huge, that huge base damage roll is just overwhelming. Okay. That was pretty cool. I believe she's immortal, so should come back. I don't think the arena kills immortals. And we've got Lanka now fighting the Melkart, who's trying to cast Summon Earth Power. Let's see how fast he gets to him. Probably got repelled. Yeah. So it got repelled, is affected by fear. Oh, that was a huge protection roll. Holy shit. 43? Oh, it must have been on his shield. Okay. And 6 points of damage, so the initial salvo doesn't do a heck of a lot. This guy, again, Iron Will. Length 2 Dawnblade is pretty handy here, but has disrupted the script, so he has not cast Bless yet. The Raksharaja is down to 14 hit points now, got walloped by that Dawnblade. So hit for 25. Morale roll 104. That's because he's berserk, I'm guessing. Attack roll did 20 points of damage, increased to 25. So that was most of the Raksharaja's health. He then came back, and did a 17-point punch, followed by a 7-point punch, a 6-point punch, and a 12-point punch, and landed his gore even for 6 damage. So did not get repelled at all. Damage increased to 6 due to slashing. So that, alright, so we've got a 14 hit point Raksharaja and a 20-point Melkart with Battle Fright now, but it's at 99 morale, I guess, from Gone Berserk. Normally, I always remember that as being noted as 50, but I think I'm crazy. Alright. So 14 versus 20. It's probably the next salvo or set of landed hits wins. Let's go ahead and see it. Alright, looks like he missed with the Dawn Blade. Hit him in the arm. Oh, negated by luck. Oh, and the gore too. That is a very lucky Raksharaja. Both of those would have been lethal damage. He only had 14 hit points. And then took some damage from Repel, but delivered a 10-point punch and a 13-point punch to kill the Melkart. And the Melkart never got the advantage of its Bless because this Raksharaja just charged in immediately. So he took the 1 damage from Repel and survives with 13 hit points. Okay. Next up, we have Sauromatia and Marverni. So we've got an Into Oreopata against a Peppa Pig's dad, the Boar Lord. Okay, that one's not named. Should favor the Oreopata, especially after Awakened Tattoos. Protection versus Mundane is 21. And has a 14 damage spear versus this guy. He'll do chip damage. And she'll do chip damage, but she's got a lot more hit points, especially with the Dino. Or Lizard. So I think the Sauromatian should win. Yeah. There we go. So it does pick up a never healing wound, I believe. Might have already had that, I'm not sure. But pretty easy victory for Sauromatia. Sauromatia now goes against Lanka. Alright, let's see how fast this Raksharaja gets in there. Kills her before she can cast her blessing. Alright. With the very first punch, no less. Just reached up and punched her right off the lizard. A huge damage roll, 34 plus 6. Followed by a follow-up to kill the Jade Lizard, too. Yeah, he just punches really hard. 38 damage. Woo! Alright. And then, our final showcase, the Pole March that actually has a lot of gear and a lot of remaining hit points against the Raksharaja. That's had to bully everyone he's come across so far, which is most of the roster. Now, he does have 5 chakras, so he survived that initial whip. Did throw out a couple of punches. Yeah, so we've got 8 and 4, and a lowly 1 damage, just from the sheer amount of protection on this Pole March. Gets, I think he took a little damage there. Looks like repel. All right. 26 on the pole march, 8 on the Raksharaja. He's still doing more damage. He's very fast. Okay. So we can see a whole suite of new attacks here. Does 1 damage, also takes 1 damage from repel. Does 2 damage here. Actually tied. That's 39, 37 versus 39 equals 0. That's some odd math. Then we've got 4 damage, which is also interesting because it's, was this 45 versus 41? Okay, that's fine. And then gimped him with a 5 damage hit down here. And then a final 16 damage to kill. So, really cool. Somewhat poetic, seeing a melee combatant equipped with Gloves of the Gladiator winning a gladiatorial arena contest. So that was pretty cool. And what does Kidzin win for this? As I close Discord really quick. He wins 397 gold and 21 fire gems. As now my phone goes ham. Sorry about that. And then we've got just a few more fights, and then we'll take a quick look. So another Throne of Gaia event, some White Cav. This might survive. It's just 1 elemental. Yeah. All right. And then we've got Night Marsh. Oh, running into a whole army. These druids are screwed. Okay. Then we've got World Pillar. A fairly sizable PD dump. This might be enough. Oh, no, they ran. 2 seems to be the magic number to kill PD. If you want to keep that in mind for future raiding. Then we've got some roaming barbarians attacking Berytos against barbarian PD, but more barbarians is going to kill less barbarians. And then with Mekone, we have one of the more sizable druid-led Throne of Gaia events with some Vine Ogres. This guy is scripted to retreat, which is good. So Mekone's not going to lose a mage here. Successfully predicted that event. And then another attack against Tianchi. We've got some trolls this time. And they should smack around these barbarians. But you never know with barbarians. Alright, I keep getting disappointed by trolls. Okay. That's funny. Alright, so the Barbarian PD holds. Excellent for TNG. Alright, so this turn we did see, I think, a couple of thrones taken. We saw the Oreopata move in here. Misfortune what? 5? Oh boy. This province is bad luck. With death. There's got to be some other site here. Okay. But yeah, it takes Throne of the Moon. Throne of the Moon is really nice. You might want to have the army patrol this fort until you get it forted. or patrol this province because it's highly likely to get bad events. And then I believe we saw Marverni go underground. Yeah, so he might be sending this army to also collect this province over here. We saw that message from Stonetroll a turn ago, but now he's lost a Melkart here. If you remember. He lost a Melkart in the arena. And he also lost a Melkart, a stack of Rephites, and a Nephilim over here. So I think Hinnom's going to have to take a few turns to get things figured out and rebuild a bit. Before going on the offensive. This large Lanka force is still sitting here. We've got a Xibalba army that's come out of the woodworks. Maybe it wants this throne. And then we've got another Lankan stack here. And then that somehow there is a connection here. So Mekone might actually go for this throne, which is crazy to me. That's such a borked connection. But they're still working on the Dream Atlas stuff, so hopefully that'll get fixed going into the future. I don't think the Xibalban stack will go for this, but it might. You never know. But I certainly think this giant stack could go for this. They've got the magic weapons to punch through vampires. The thralls won't do anything. So there's definitely room for that kind of throne push. And it would be the Throne of Death, which he doesn't know. But I mean, that would pretty much break him into death pretty quickly. So let's see. Well, I suppose he could look at what's claimed and he could see the scales here and probably take a good guess, but he doesn't know for sure yet, I think. All right, and then has to knock out these guys. So this guy's over here now, which I imagine he's already site searched. So I bet he was hoping for him to retreat somewhere else, but he'll take what he can get. Keep forgetting about the mundane score graphs that Mekone's got. And yeah, I think that's most of it. This has been taken, so it's the Throne of Death, the Throne of Life, and Crystal Throne. Where are they? Yeah, and then Ulm has started staling, so I think Ulm's out of it. Tianqi's going to have to coalesce here and siege down this fort. Ulm's about to lose his capital, but we knew that as soon as the Pretender died. And give me 1 second. Okay, so back now. All right, so Throne of Life is not taken. Still up for grabs. I think I would have liked to have seen that Marverni army go for this. I don't know if he's already negotiated that with someone else, though. Like Fomoria, maybe. All right, so we've got Throne of Life, Throne of Death. And then we had one more Crystal Throne. Oh, where is it? Oh, that should be one of the ones getting claimed this turn. So it's probably the one Sauromatia took. No, that's Throne of the Moon. I thought someone else claimed a throne. Or took a throne this turn. Who was it? Nope. I'm just being silly. How am I so blind? It's like I can't find the thrones now that I'm looking at them. Throne of Misfortune. Throne of Chains, Throne of Gaia, Throne of the First Stage. Oh, Crystal Throne here. All right, so Hinnom's already got it forted, but he hasn't claimed it yet. I don't know if he just forgot. Because he should have a prophet running around, and he had that Nephilim running around. Okay, so just, sorry about that. It took me a while to find, but we've got 3 unclaimed thrones. Or 4 unclaimed. 2 of them are still independent. This one's probably about to get claimed, and this one might have forgotten to get claimed. All right. In terms of the graphs, we've got now topping the province graph, followed by Lanka and Berytos. I think it's funny that expansion went well enough for Lanka and Berytos. They didn't even have to fight a first war, and they're still almost as big as who has now won a first war. We've got our Vulture TNG down here. And then the rest of them. With forts, we've got Berytos out in front. Income is still Berytos, but is catching up. Is also full scales and now has an approximate amount of land. A lot of area under this curve for Berytos that's shown up in additional forts. Gym income, we've got Marverni, Lanka, Mekone, Hinnom, and TNG in our top band. Yeah, it's probably just the people that site searched best, or a little bit at this point, plus some event income. For blood, we've got Berytos and Xibalba. For research, we've got Berytos out in front by a growing margin, followed by TNG, followed by everyone else. For Dominion, we've got Marverni out in front, and still Hinnom, TNG, and Lanka. Probably for having awakes. I think they all had awakes so they could have their bless. Oh, Hinnom's was dormant, I think. But yeah, most of them. For army size, we've seen some attrition. Maybe some of the mercs have come off the payroll for but he still has the largest army, followed by Xibalba, Berytos, and the rapidly growing Lankan army. And I think that's it for this one. Still kind of quiet, but we did get a really fun arena event. This is the last turn before Kidzin goes on his big trip to Japan. So I'm going to have 2 or 3 weeks to forget about how everything was doing or going. And then we will jump back into it when he gets back. So that should be cool. I will see you guys then. Have a good one. Bye.